the next thing we're going to do, guys, is we're going to swap out the bolt catch. Okay, now the bolt catch on the T15 is a dummy switch. Alright, but we are going to try to replace that with an actual one. And this one is also from Strike Industries. I'll show you that in a second. Now, this is the pin that goes in there. I kind of loosened it beforehand, guys, just to make it a little easier to come out. So you just stick the pin through there. Alright, remove that pin. And here's the switch. Okay, it's a dummy switch. A dummy bolt catch. So, we're going to try to replace it with an actual one. And this is from Strike Industries. And this is what an actual AR bolt catch looks like. Okay, this is what it is. This actual AR would actually slide in there. So we're going to do this right here. I'm going to replace it with this. Okay, so it's gives it a nice, better style. So what I'm going to basically do, guys, is you're going to try to line these two up as best you can. And then you're going to need to make a mark right back here. Okay. I'm actually just going to cut off this tab right there. I'm just going to try to cut right there. And you're just going to try to cut this as straight as possible. I'm marking it up here. I'm going to remove this tab. Alright, and that hopefully should line up right there. Should be able to pop right in and replace this one with. Okay, so I'm going to just cut that right off. Alright, so I'm going to go cut that off, and then before we mount this on, see if it fits, we're going to swap out the mag release button as well as the latch. Alright, be right back. Alright, guys, so now we're going to replace the, before we put that bolt catch on there, guys, we're going to replace the mag release button and latch. Alright, now to remove it, you actually have to have that bolt catch removed. And what you're going to do is you're going to basically take your finger and depress the button in as far as you can. Okay, you want to get it out past the notch here, and then you're going to go counterclockwise. Okay. And then it'll screw right out of the back side of the button. Now, keep pressure on that button, guys, and release it slowly, because you have a spring in there. And if you just take your finger off after you relieve the latch, it's going to go flying. So maintain some pressure till you slowly take that out so it doesn't go flying off on you. Alright, now, I'm going to be installing a new one. I actually had this one on here. This one I had custom engraved, said Arkham. And that was an actual AR latch. However, this is one of those parts that you have to modify. This is going to be one that I'm going to be adding. This is the one for the T15, okay? Slight difference in the cut. I don't know if you can notice that, but this one is a little bigger. Okay, so if I drop it in, you can see right there, it doesn't just drop in, okay? So you're gonna have to grind this down a little bit, as I did with this one. Notice that I had to grind down to get it to drop in, just like that. Okay, so not only do you have to grind down the back side of it just to get it down. Now you might want to, before you do that, you might want to put a little tape here just to maintain the finish on the front, and then just edge this down. Now you got to be patient with this, because you're gonna have to do this. Grind it and then put it in to see if you just got it. Don't just grind down. Grind down a little bit and then pop it in until you get it to drop in right. Because if you go too far, you're gonna have a gap there, and then it's really not gonna line up right. So you want to keep grinding and testing it out. Make sure that it drops in no problem. Okay, and that it's not gonna be tight, but you want it to be just right. So that's why I go easy. Grind down a little bit, test it out, grind down a little bit, test it out. Now, the other thing is, guys, the actual piece that catches the magazine. Okay, you're gonna notice here, this is the T15 one factory, that's the AR one. Okay, you'll notice that this one is wider. So you're gonna, and it's sloped down. So as you can see from this one here, I grinded it down to kind of shape it, to get it to where I need it to be. Also, once you get this to fit and you start grinding this down, again, go easy, slowly, and then pop the magazine in and out, just to make sure that it'll release properly, okay? And in doing that, you're gonna have to attach it back to the button to get it, and then pop the mag in and out to get it to release. So go easy, be patient with it. You're gonna be, you're gonna get tired because you're gonna have to press on the sand, taking it out, putting it back in. But if you really want a custom mag release, that's what you're gonna have to do to get that to fit in there right. All right, so this is another part. I'm gonna go work on this so we can drop this back in there, and then we're gonna replace this button with this one. And this one has the plate with the extended mag release. Okay, so a lot of different options with the extended mag release buttons as well, but what they're pretty much the same button, except this one will have the extended one will have the screw so that you can mount the outside plate. A bunch of different options and colors that comes with this too. Okay, this, you don't have to do anything with the button. The buttons are standard fit. But the latch isn't, so you're gonna have to grind down and modify the latch in order to work. All right, or leave it alone. I mean, if you don't care about that, just leave it alone, and you can just switch out the button if you just want the extended mag release. All right, so let me get working on this, and then we'll install this. We'll install that bolt catch. We'll see how that came out. And then we'll wrap it up by putting back the internals for the air chamber. All right, be right back. Okay, guys. So I got these couple of the parts cut. I had to shave down back. I had to grind down on the inside there. Just kind of slope it a little bit, and it looks good. Got it to fit. Again, I kept testing it in and out. Drops in good, no problem. So now we're going to assemble this back together along with the release button extension. So you just got to do to put it back in. Drop the spring back in there. I'm going to take my button, the new one that's going to go with the extended plate there. Okay. Again, it's be a bit of a pain because you're gonna kind of have to push that button in as far as you can. And this time now you're gonna thread the latch clockwise. And you're gonna keep threading. Once you start hitting these pieces over here, you should be getting close. Okay, now what you want is right there. You want that screw to be flush with the outside of the button. Actually, might have went in a little too far. You want it flush or just behind it. Don't want it too far out. No, it went the other way. Okay, you don't want it too far out because this is what happens when you get caught. You don't want it too far in because then it won't release. Okay. So you want it just like that. And if you can see that, it's just below the outside of that button there. Okay. And before I do anything, I'm going to test it. So I'm going to grab my mag. It's actually a brand new mag. Okay, puts in no problem, and it releases no problem. Okay, so that's the thing, guys. When you want to replace the latch, you just, as I said, just go little by little, and then you're just gonna have to keep testing it just to make sure you got it just right. So now, drop in these little screws. As I mentioned before, there's a bunch of different styles on these extended buttons. and they're actually pretty good, pretty handy, especially if you have shorter fingers like me. Tighten it down, tighten it down. There. Okay. So there, so it can come off. Okay, I'm not reaching all the way up to get it. Come off, and it should come out no problem. See it again. Clips in. Should be able to release no problem. All right. So extended release mag, guys. Mag release, pretty good. Okay. Custom latch. Now we're going to put back this upper and lower manifold, and I mentioned before one of the common problems that people have. So you have the air chamber there. You're going to have this spring goes down. You have the valve pin drops in there. Now, a common problem with the T15, guys, is this valve pin and the O-ring that goes on the lower manifold here. That's why it's a good idea to have a repair kit and have some of these additional parts, because this does tend to get damaged, as well as that O-ring. So I'm going to drop that, no, did it backwards, drop that back down. Okay, now this has 2 screws in the front, and it also has a pin that holds it down in the back here. Okay, so we'll slide that in. I'm going to replace the screws. So yeah, guys, so again, this O-ring in here and that valve pin, a lot of times when you have problems and you're bleeding air out and it's nothing in the back, you want to check that. So this is the lower manifold. You're going to have to obviously remove the upper manifold and then take a peek. I've had that O-ring crack a couple of times on me, and I've had that valve pin go on me. So it's a very good idea to have some of those extra. Okay. So guys, as you can see, that O-ring is a bit of a, it's not round, it's a bit of a, it's a round O-ring, but you see the shape that it's going to lay in there. So if you need to switch that out, that can be a big pain. What I tend to do sometimes is, just to get it to stick and go around, I add a little bit of the marker oil in there just to kind of grab, and then I get it in there into the groove where it sticks. Okay, but always be mindful of that. That is a common problem, as well as this valve pin. And here we have the upper manifold. So that'll go in now. This has a little slide button. Just push it in, pop it in, and there you go. All right, this is another O-ring, guys. This O-ring right here, well, this it's not an O-ring, but this gasket right here, guys, will sometimes get pinched because the sleeve on the upper, that sleeve right there sits right there, and sometimes when you clamp down on the gun, it will crimp the gasket right there. So it's a good idea to keep an eye on that and have a few of these extra. All right, and that's it, guys. So I've had this gun, what you see here, the graphics that I had on this gun, guys, I had this Cerakoted. All right, so I took it to a local shop that does Cerakote, and basically Cerakote, if you can look it up, there's a lot of different things you can do with that, a lot of different colors you can go with. They basically blast the entire gun. They take off all the original paint, whatever's on it, whatever graphics is on it, it all comes out. And then these are actually vinyl cut out. You can design whatever you want on it, and they'll print it out on a vinyl sheet. They'll lay it out, and they'll repaint and recoat the gun. So you can go any color you want: tan, black, gray, red, green, whatever you want. and you can have whatever graphics you want on it. There's a lot. Again, if you go on the Cerakote website, guys, there is a lot of different. They actually have a gallery. They have a ton of different guns that you can see there, where they do Cerakote. So, you know, whatever you can think of or whatever you want to do, if you want to have your own emblem on there, whatever you want, you can have these customized however you want. Alright guys, now that I got the button release in there, this is the bolt catch, right? As I mentioned, I'm just going to cut that back piece off. Alright, looks pretty good. Lay it in there. And I'm going to do the pin. This pin is a bit of a pain. This also has teeth in there, guys, so that it locks in there. But to drive that pin in, be a bit of a pain, so just get yourself something at the force that in there. Okay. There it is. Alright. Actually, might have cut a little bit too much off there as it does bounce, but that's what it looks like. Looks pretty good. The lower receiver, guys, we're done with this. And from the next episode, guys, we're going to move on to the upper receiver.